Manchester United legend Andy Cole has highlighted the want for extrade in soccer and certainly society at some stage in an effective interview to speak about Black History Month. The treble winner, 51 today, speaks passionately approximately position fashions and they have an effect on black gamers in an in-intensity communication with membership journalist Sam Carney that you may examine below. Cole feels in particular strongly approximately the shortage of possibilities for black coaches and bosses in English soccer, pointing to the truth his outstanding pal Dwight Yorke couldn't discover a course lower back into the game. As Andy explains, Yorkie's eventual risk got here on the opposite aspect of the arena with Australian membership MacArthur FC and, like each Red, he become thrilled to look him win a home cup in advance this month. Firstly, Andy, are you able to sum up simply how crucial Black History Month is, and who have been your black position fashions while you have been developing up?
Yeah, it's far very crucial and I agree that we deserve extra than a month, however it's far what it's far.
It may be very crucial. I suppose you constantly study your father as a position version due to the fact, ultimately, while you are developing up he's the provider.
So I might say my dad, who surpassed away in June.
In footballing terms, Cyril Regis become my largest notion and he become one of the motives why I desired to play soccer. We have all were given position fashions and he become truly mine.
And have been there human beings like John Barnes and possibly Ian Wright later on?
I suppose John is lots of the more youthful era's idol, more youthful than my era, however I admire John 100 according to Scent. I suppose he become an extremely good player. But for me it become extra Cyril Regis.
Righty is extra of a pal.
Obviously I study him and what he has executed in his profession as well, however my position version becomes Cyril Regis. You have been one of the Premier League's maximum high-profile black gamers at some stage in the 1990s while English soccer become going via a transformative process.
What become that like?
It become very unique for us and, ultimately, we have been attempting to expose the era underneath us that whatever is possible. A lot of human beings are organized to inform us what we cannot do, however it is what we are able to do. When we have been gambling, we have been displaying human beings that in case you trust in yourself then the sky's the limit. I want to trust that I executed that, gambling the manner I did, attaining what I executed for all the golf equipment I performed for. It is a unique feeling for human beings to show to me and say I become their position version developing up.
Being a position version is what it's for. Sometimes you take delivery of it and on occasion you do not. But if you may be a tremendous on any person then that could be an extremely good feeling. Did you experience you have been a position version at some stage in your profession, or is it something you handiest realized afterwards? During my profession, or maybe now I am retired, do I study myself as a position version? I do not recognize.
I recognize what I become like after I become more youthful and the manner I performed the game. Some human beings would possibly have favored that and a few human beings would possibly now no longer. Ultimately you're constantly seeking to go away a legacy and if human beings need to study that legacy as being a position version to them for what you executed then that could be an outstanding feeling. But we do strive our pleasant, we attempt to behavior ourselves with inside the proper manner.
I did anyway. I attempted to behavior myself with inside the proper manner.
Sometimes you permit yourself down a bit, with frustration or anything it's far, your handiest human, however if I am a position version then I am a position version.
How do you experience it has modified for the contemporary era of gamers? Do you suspect we have got made development due to the fact the 70s and 80s, or has it simply shifted to social media?
I do not suppose we've got definitely made development. I suppose what we do as a footballing USA as a whole, we get to a positive location after which absolutely each person forgets approximately it.
They suppose we've got cracked it and we suppose we've got made massive improvements. Then all of a sudden, its head rears up and absolutely each person says, well, we eliminated it. But we by no means eliminated it. We get it to a positive preserving function after which suppose we've got executed our jobs. It will constantly rear its unsightly head due to the fact that's what the arena is. People will constantly come lower back to examine their unsightly head due to the fact, like I stated, we get to a preserving function and suppose we've got cracked it. As we see it as it's far now, I am now no longer amazed at all. It is simply ready to occur. Because after you loosen the handbag strings with the intention to speak such things as in order to constantly occur. I suppose we noticed that once the Euros very last while Rashford, Sancho and Saka ignored their penalties. But do you suspect this contemporary England group helps? I suppose one half of the group is black and possibly that might assist with acceptance? I do not suppose so, no. I can be honest, it isn't always. Racism isn't always simply in soccer, it's far in society. That is what we felt had to be understood. It is in society each unmarried day. What passed off to the lads with inside the Euros, this is simply society being what society is, rearing its unsightly head in soccer. But how do you get on with it? We are continuously speaking approximately schooling, however we were speaking approximately schooling for what number of years now? Not only a few years, however, masses of years, and were nonetheless on the identical location. We spoke to Yorkie final year approximately Black History Month, and he stated there are not sufficient possibilities for black managers in soccer. He is now dealing with MacArthur in Australia and received the Australian Cup some weeks ago. How satisfied are you for him? I become simply humming for him. Me and Yorkie had this communication regularly. He stated he desired to get into control and he desired me to get concerned with control. I constantly stated I am now no longer going to do it. I stated as black gamers were constantly going to locate it hard to get into control. They communicate a variety of nonsense approximately it getting higher, however no it isn't always getting higher. It is handiest getting higher in case you have become impossibility and we aren't getting the possibility. Yorkie needed to visit Australia to receive impossibility. I become simply thrilled while he received the cup. I spoke to him earlier than the cup very last and I spoke to him after. He is humming and rightly so. It is simply unlucky he has needed to pass all of the manner to Australia to get a function. I am thrilled for him and I am constantly satisfied while a black supervisor receives a process. How many are there now? Patrick Vieira at Palace and Paul Ince at Reading? You study it and say to yourself, for the contribution that black gamers have had now no longer simply at the Premier League, however the Championship and League One, and handiest names spring to mind. You study the ex-gamers that need to get into control that had stellar careers and feature visible their white opposite numbers pass right into a process directly away, you switch round to yourself and say what's the point? In control, this is the manner I view it. How do you suspect we address that? Is it any person like Vieira doing it definitely properly process, or is it extra rules based, just like the Rooney Rule in America? I even have had this communication so regularly concerning the Rooney Rule, it is a nonsense. It is similar to I am sitting down having a communication with you now. Oh, we have had an outstanding communication, an incredible communication, it become definitely properly, however we've got executed what we have got executed, we have had a chat, we have got ticked all of the bins and I'm nonetheless going to offer it to Joe Blogs over right here. Unfortunately we get type solid as well. If one black supervisor has failed, the possibility for any other black supervisor turns into extraordinarily difficult due to the fact one has failed. How does that paintings? You are judging one black supervisor as you need to decide the rest. It cannot paintings like that, however this is the manner the machine is. When I pay attention human beings speaking approximately it getting higher, no it is a nonsense. Whatever all people desires to mention approximately me and my perspectives on this, it is the reality I'm speaking. It's a nonsense. What might you are saying is the pleasant manner of having extra black managers into the game. We need to receive impossibility like absolutely each person else, we need to be. I should take a seat down right here and say you aren't properly sufficient, however how do I recognize that if I do not come up with impossibility? You by no means recognize. If I take a seat down and feature an interview like I simply stated, and I ticked all of the bins however they gave it to any person else, how do they recognize they may be higher than the character you have not given the process to? So in case you aren't going to offer all people a risk you then definitely are by no means going to recognize. Somebody were given to receive a risk at the best level, similar to absolutely each person else is given a risk, then you may pass from there. But it would not occur like that.